But really, we're all one and the same, right? We're all made of roughly the same stuff. Whether or not you see, or hear, or smell, we all still think and feel. Even the hive minds feel, and they feel deeply, just in a different way to you and I. That's what my papi told me as a boy, and I've yet to find something that proves him wrong. The miner echoed out to his drinking buddies. Co-workers are never quite friends, are they? With all around the table tipsy enough to be philosophical without being wishy-washy. That's mostly true, but the devil's in the details. Another ventured, slamming down a shot for emphasis after. Are you calling my papi a liar? Go on, keep talking. The first miner laughed back, the empty thread driving some guffaws around the table. No, it's just... fuck. It's difficult to quantify, you know? Yeah, look, your papi's not wrong, but he's not right either. We are all mostly the same. We all burn food for energy. We all think. We can all appreciate beauty and culture, even if that culture is shit on a stick. But we don't all feel. Have a single one of you ever felt like you don't like thinking so much? Not in a I want to party and forget, but in a way that makes you tired upon waking up. The man gets interrupted by some groans and cries of bullshit. Shut the fuck up, please. For the love of God. Look, there's old stories of humans long before they'd properly left their planet. Earth, is it? I think so. Before they had access to all the modern healthcare we have now. They write and sing and talk about something called depression. It's this thing like you wouldn't believe. It apparently made them not want to be here anymore, you know? Like, not alive anymore. And they didn't want to be alive for themselves, because they couldn't feel anything. They used to say they lost the light in their eyes, if you can understand it. The table had gone a bit quiet, with most of those in attendance in mild shock. And with modern medicine, I'm sure they don't have that depression thing anymore. But technically, your papi was wrong. Sometimes, some species, under very extreme, archaic circumstances, don't feel. Fucking horrible stuff. A silence hung over the table for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3. I've seen it before. A woman called over from a nearby table. Dressed in officer's showy gear, she struck quite the impression in the dingy bar. She sipped her drink, slow and tender, almost as if preparing herself for what was to follow. A scar deep set in her cheek twinkled and itched in the dim lighting. Or maybe I've seen it different. It makes me feel sick thinking of it. It was back in the war. Me and my crew were blockade runners, rushing small arms militias in the Difer system. My second in command was a human, and barely a man at that. His name was John. He was fresh out of officer training and completely green at the gills. He was a good second in command, but he definitely still had his innocence, you know? Even in firefights and dangerous situations, he still had this excitement in his eyes. He had this lust for life, all his cracking jokes and smiling big. Smiling's a human thing to show joy, if you don't know. Anyway, one mission, we're tasked with running through a flotilla, complete with an infantry division. Should have been a piece of cake. But the flotilla knew. The moment we dropped into the system, they dispatched boarders. I guess they wanted what we were carrying. We tried to evade them, but those dropships had maneuverability like you wouldn't believe. She takes a deep swig of a drink. Within 30 seconds, they'd breach hull and were pouring in. They were flooding our lower engine decks with the intent of leaving us a sitting duck. I ordered our pilot to push through the flotilla with everything we had, before I grabbed my repeater and rushed down into the lower decks. I remember thinking to myself that I'd rather die saving my crew than be taken a prisoner for. How I made it down there, I don't know. But it was as if I was given a suit of armor by the Maker himself as I plowed my way through the enemy troops. Eventually, I made it down to the engine deck, bleeding and broken, but firmly alive. By the time I got down there, we'd made it through the blockade. I slowly swept the smaller rooms, looking for borders, but found none. And then I saw him. The color drains from her face slightly. Oh, I guess I heard him. It's hard to keep track. I remember hearing this haggard breathing in one of the small rooms. But there were bodies piled out the door and blood spewing into the vents. I took a moment to steel myself before swinging to peek around, and she takes a moment to breathe, as if to calm herself. There he was, John, coated in blood and bits, some his and some not. I remember feeling this wave of relief wash over me, but it stopped in my gut. It was his eyes. Something had happened to his eyes. He was looking at me fine, but he didn't see me. There was just this inky blackness in there, like what happens when a black hole eats a star. I had this feeling in the moment that his soul had been consumed, swallowed and irrevocably lost. He was a dead man walking. The officer pauses a moment, then takes another swig of a drink. I ran into John a few years back. We knocked back a few, shared some laughs and stories. He's doing well for himself. Found himself a partner and they're raising kids together on a farmstead. But it's like you said, the light in his eyes was gone, swallowed up whole by the Grim Reaper.